How you doing?
Good, good. I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. Um, all right, so let's talk everything about you.
Everything about me, all the
Oh,
things.
thing about you related to acting. When did you start acting?
I started in high school. Um, so high school where we had two really great drama teachers, and we would do a Shakespeare play and a musical every year, and it was like the big buzz of the school. And I'd seen a play there before I went to that high school, and it was sort of like this.
Oh shoot, you disappeared. Suddenly it just said you're unable to join, which is interesting because you've joined already. Ah, Instagram gods, help us. All right, let me see. You're frozen on my side. Sorry, Patsy and Norman. Let's see what happens. Hmm. Yes, you will be back, I'm sure. And if she's not, I'm gonna close this and start it over again. Let's see. Um, I'm channeling the Instagram gods right now. Let's see. Let's see if it helps. I hope you guys are doing okay. In the meantime, thank you for sticking in. And let's see. There she goes. Oh, it's because she wasn't following, it looks like. Okay. Let's see if I can invite her again. Let's see if we can do that. It looks like she's coming. I see her request.
Okay. I don't know what happened. Something came up on my screen and I pressed it.
Like, suddenly it said to me like you were unable to join, but you were already there, and then it turned off. That's
Oh,
okay. I prayed to Instagram gods and it worked. That's how I do technology. All right. So you were talking about your younger experience.
right. So high school. So yeah, I just started doing the plays in high school and it was really fun. I think I was lucky to have teachers that kind of just threw us up there and let us kind of muck around on stage and and play. And and I felt a lot of freedom just doing that. And yeah, it was just, I have really fond memories of doing that. And I made great friends in plays. And then I just,
Oh my God, it's doing it again. It says you're unable to join. Mm. My prayers didn't work. I raised them so high. Maybe I raised too high. Instagram gods, calling you again. How can we make this work? Uh-huh. Um, I don't know. I don't know. I've never had this situation where someone's live with me and then I get a message on my screen saying that that same person that is with me already um is saying that she's unable to join. Yes, someone has a question while she is off. Go ahead, Norman. Ask me your question. But you can ask it live. You can ask it in the comments. If I bring you live, she won't be able to join. And it looks like she's coming back. Nope, not yet. But you can type your questions. Actually, that's a good idea. While we're waiting, um, and we can see. Great. This is how it's supposed to not go in retrograde, I guess. In retrograde, nothing works. So let's see if we get Alicia to join us again. I apologize for those who are just showing up. This is it's a channeling of the Instagram gods inside of the retrograde phase in the universe. And it's not working at all. Just put it that way. It's not working at all. But we're hopeful. We're here. We're committed. So we're staying and hoping that Alicia can come back. Okay, Norman, your question. With the writer's strike, got 3 jobs this last week. How does the strike help new actors? That's a good question, and I would not be the right person to ask that. I think that circumstances always happen. I can give you a more global answer than a specific one related to the strike. I know it's affecting everything. I know there's about 30% less projects that are being moved right now, or at least that was the case 2 weeks ago. But you're saying that you are getting jobs. So you got 3 jobs last week, so that's a lot. In general, I would say that as an artist, you don't want to let the circumstances influence the decisions or the creations that you are gifting, because you have no control over the circumstances. You do have control over where you put your energy. So for example, putting your energy in the panic of the strike and what's going to happen is going to be energy that's going to be sent out there, and you have no control over what is going to happen, when it's going to happen. So putting your energy in the future is always going to be delusional, because the only thing that you have is right now. The present moment is the only thing. And so Alicia is saying, I don't know how to rejoin. I don't know either, Alicia. This is terrible. I will finish answering this question, Alicia, and then I'll get on Zoom with you again, and then we can try and figure it out. Because all you would need to do normally is press on the logo and join like you did before. I don't know why it keeps kicking you out, so I'm sorry about that. So yeah, I would make sure that circumstances never steal your energy, and that you keep your energy on what you are committed to create. And there's Alicia, so I'm going to accept her. And yeah, because that's where your energy will go, where your focus goes. There we go.
We're back. I tried another room, but it still didn't work. So now I'm back in the first room.
Well, another try. If this time it doesn't work, we'll switch to or something. But none of us are doing anything that doesn't work, because we're live. So it means that we're great at technology. It's just that the gods are in retrograde, and then that's what happens. So back to where you were. I'm listening.
Right. Okay. So after high school, I did it, I went a little bit of a different route. I went more into like academic learning, and then I kept getting called back to acting. I would feel just like this longing, and always feel like, okay, I just would find myself again through acting. It was sort of like this way back into finding myself. So I went to drama school, and then I did some shows and started to do film and TV and voiceover and stuff. Mm. And then, this takes us up to now, where I just, I felt like I wanted to just get back to the joy, because although I've been, doing acting and going on auditions and stuff, somehow, I was, there's some parts of just the industry, of the audition process, of all of it became more stressful. It became more stressful, and I was worried about doing it right and all of this stuff. And yeah, I wanted to, I knew that I wasn't tapping into like why I was really loving it. And I was like, I know I love acting, but I'm not loving it right now.
Very. And I think it's It's great when you have both, when you've had both experiences. So you act when you're much younger and you don't care about doing it right. It's playful,
Yeah.
it's fun, it's very fulfilling. And so you're really in touch with that truth. And then you start getting a little bit more into the adult version of it, which is trying to do it right, and it's stressful, and there's auditions and needing to, thinking you need to, satisfy or please other people. And then it becomes painful. The great thing is that it's not supposed to be stressful, because some people don't act when they're young,
Mm.
and they act as adults, and they're already so conditioned to, function with pressure and stress and satisfy everyone, that they think, there's something wrong with them and they should just keep working harder to not be this stressed. And at least I'm glad that you knew that, hey, I've lost something in the process. What's happening? Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting like I would still get glimmers of it. I'd have times where I was just totally connected and feeling like, on fire in an audition or in a performance, but I wanted that just more consistently. I'm like, I
Oh,
know
yeah. Glimmers is, you didn't go into acting for glimmers of satisfaction. If you're an artist, you're really going for the opposite of glimmers. You're going for really being fully fulfilled. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, what's happening at the moment that you decide that, well, this is too much stress? Or what is actually happening for you to say, yeah, this is not working anymore. I need to do something differently, and I'm going to reset myself and do this work.
Yeah, well, I think it was like, it's such a crazy profession that if you're not having fun in it, then like, it's like, what am I doing? And I just knew it was like the ingredient for me. Like I knew, it's like I know how to act.
Mhm.
I know how to like break down a script. I've done that a million times, and I'm, and I'm a hard worker and all of that stuff. But it was that piece of just wanting to get back to feeling excited, feeling free, and trusting myself. Because I would also feel like, stage fright, especially after COVID, it was worse. And I would feel kind of crippled by that. And I didn't know how to like process through that. And then feeling too like if I didn't know, if I didn't have everything kind of like plotted out, like, and that's what I was spending all my preparation time, and it wasn't fun. It felt so much like heavy homework. And I just knew, you know, I always I wanted to be like just able to be free and improvisational and like know that it's going to be okay if it's not all figured out. Not just okay, but like to have it not be figured out and like really be alive
Yeah,
in moments.
definitely. Um, so how was it to reset yourself?
Um, I enjoyed it, and it was also really hard. It was very freeing, very challenging. Like going into it was hard and uncomfortable at times, but it was also very satisfying, and like I knew I was just clearing out gunk, and and I felt lighter already. Like with every day I would feel both lighter and deeper.
Uh,
And I was feeling more creative kind of in everything. I redecorated my apartment. I started writing a show. I, started to just like go through my wardrobe. So like kind of my whole life was getting this refresh on just feeling more me. And then I would, in my acting, I was like, here it is. Like, there I am. Because early on, like I think in the first week, I just tested out, had this like short film audition, and I was like, oh, I don't want to do this. And then I thought, just give it a try. see how this stuff translates into a scene. And I was having so much fun. I didn't care if I was going to get it or not. And I watched the tapes and I did it 3 totally different ways. And I was like, I like this. And it was just great to feel alive again in a character.
Yeah. You know what you're mentioning. Sometimes I use an analogy that I think can be helpful for people. You said it was challenging because you were clearing a lot of the muck out, but you felt light and deeper and creative. It's a little bit like plumbing. This is your home, right?
Yeah.
And if the plumbing, which is, what's going to come in and what's going to come out of the house, is full of muck, well, you can't flush things out of the house anymore, and nothing can come in either. So it's the energy is stuck, right? So the stress feeling and the dissatisfaction with inevitably is because your energy is like unable to, it's just not open, that all the tubes are clogged. And then you reset in a way. Is the resetting yourself is the work of actually making sure that your plumbing works, that the energy is moving, doing what it's supposed to be doing. You're breathing in and out. Some is coming in, some is coming out. And then suddenly your entire life works, and there's more room to be you and more creativity. So you expand horizontally and vertically, and like that, because things are unclogged. The muck has gone. There's space. Basically, there's space. There's enough room for you to reveal yourself, to emerge, to exist, to explore, to experience. And if your house is full of junk, it's like a hoarder, right? You can't open the doors and you can't move in the rooms anymore. There's just stuff all the way up to the ceiling. So, yeah, not surprising to hear that if you actually take this on and move through the muck, you're gonna get your life back on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how does it, you mentioned the short film, but compared to before, if there's a before and after moment of, okay, like one word for how it had become to act, and one word for how it is to act now.
I'd say before it felt like work, work, and now easy. I feel like I can go into a lot of situations, and even situations where, I was constantly being surprised because I'd, go to sing a song or something, and I hadn't prepared a lot. And then it was easy, and it was happening, and it was moving. So a lot of just all of that extra stuff has fallen away.
It's amazing. It's amazing, and it's the least that you could possibly expect from choosing a career that is about, being fully expressed and fully alive. So you should at least have that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, feel like at home in me and able to just reveal in the moment. It feels great. It feels easy.
Yeah. And no more need to plan, right? No more need to plan out the scene and decide in advance. You can just show up in it and be with what is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful. Is there that you would like to add for people who are, I think that oftentimes people, may resonate with the difficulty and trying a lot of techniques and methods to improve, and then realize it doesn't really work when your whole instrument tenses up, may come across this and may think, well, this kind of makes sense, but I have no idea what this is because it's not an acting class. You don't learn how to act, so I'm confused. I feel a lot of people may feel confusion about the reset. And so I think it's helpful for people to hear from resetters like you who have done it, what you would say to people who are confused.
I think two things. I think like getting into my body, just getting more and out of the head, the planning, all of that stuff. There's just so much richness in that. It's like that's where like it's like what can I say? It's like mainlining into creativity and inspiration. And I think all of the other methods, trainings, I think ideally you're trying to get there, but this for me just felt right. It felt like, you know, and I think for anyone who, if it feels like it speaks to you, you know, if that
Yeah,
makes,
I want to add something because I'm very neurotic about words.
yeah.
I think what might be helpful for people to understand also is there is no it.
Mm-hmm.
It is not a method. It is not a technique. It is not a class. It is not a course. It is not a theory. It is resetting means going back to you. So I'm not delivering anything that fits some people or fits or doesn't fit others. I'm just holding hands so that people remember where their truth and their freedom is. So it doesn't exist. The reset itself doesn't exist. It's you resetting yourself, you going back to your core, your heart, your soul, your truth, your freedom, to your being. And it's not a map to follow, a model, a method. It's not a recipe at all. And so that's why you may feel confused, I think, if you're resonating with, you know, the pains that you're feeling when you're acting and you're really knowing that that freedom exists. You've felt it sometimes, that kind of grace. And at the same time, you're confused because you're like, but how are we going to get there? I think the confusion also comes from the fact that we're all raised in a very conditioned world where we're always spoon-fed what to do.
Yeah.
And it's always external stuff. You got to do this in order to do, you know, to get that. And you got to behave like this in order to have that. And you got to think like this in order to be accepted. And you got to feel this way in order to be loved. And so because we've been spoon-fed a lot of to-dos, external stuff, external obligations, this is the invitation to throw all of that out the window and to actually meet yourself. And it might be scary and confusing because you've never been allowed to be with yourself. But the good news is all these energies that we've used in the past are not ours. Resetting means you're finally going to drop into your body, into your energy, into your soul, into your heart. And it's a million, gazillion, billion times more potent than borrowing fake, made up authority energy from the outside. So, yes, it's confusing because you've never been there or you haven't been there in a long time. But when you start to drop home, like you said, even if it's challenging, little by little, you were feeling lighter because you were coming back home. Yeah. Yeah. A little bit like plumbing. If everything's clogged, you'd go, oh my God,
Right.
how? But then you start and little by little it clears up and then here you are and it works again.
Yeah. Easy flow.
Fine.
Yeah. Fun. Yeah. Playing more.
Which is what it's about. When you were playing as a child, there was no part of you that was ever turning around and going, am I doing this right? Should I do it differently? No, you were actually interested in the experience. You weren't trying to be interesting, which is where adults get stuck with the ego and want to be interesting instead of actually just being interested in what's happening. Yeah. Well, thank you, Alicia. Thank you for sharing yourself.
Oh, thank you. My pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm so glad. I'm so glad we stuck with it and made it work.
It happened. We got connected. The technology worked.
We won over retrograde. That's us. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Bye, guys.